Welcome to GLS Carriers Presents Team Talk. I'm Ken Cox, and I slapped on my pantyhose and galoshes waiting for this rain to come. It didn't come. We got Francis Ham.
Hi.
Kenny Coons.
Good way to get a tan.
That's right. Behind the cameras, we've got Danny.
Hello.
And he has become a man.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, we're going to go over a few things this episode. Loads popping up on the boards. How you guys are the backbone of America. Payroll issues. Talk about some safety issues. See what we're going over. We have an anniversary. Jake Burgoyne, 6 years.
Great. That's awesome.
Congrats, Jake.
Yeah, congrats.
Well done. We've got Drivers4Drivers t-shirts. We've got 2 of them for y'all. If you're swinging by the office, stop by. We'll get you some of those. I will be putting them in some bags and stuff and sending them out to you. But if you're coming through, we want to see your happy, shiny, bright faces. So stop on by.
And if it's on a Friday or something, let us know when you're going to be by. We'd love to have you as part of the team here doing one of these podcasts.
Absolutely. That way I don't have to listen to me talk.
You guys might scare them away.
Is the shirt you're wearing one of those shirts?
It is. It is. This is one of the Driver4Drivers shirts right here.
That's fancy.
Yeah. I like it.
that.
Like it.
Didn't you guys come up with that design down there in marketing?
Yeah, well, I think Elena did. She came up with a couple, and then it was kind of a team effort. Everybody pitched in. I think you guys were the ones that ended up choosing the final shirts, but
I think they turned out really fantastic.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good.
Well, let's dive into payroll. It is the 2nd today. It is cutoff day.
Yep. The 2nd to the 17th. So this is coming out on the 9th, so we're halfway through the 2-week period. I think everyone has already asked all their questions on it. I think it's going to go smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless the guy's wanting to take a 10-day vacation or something.
That'll hurt a little.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a few good questions that came along with the payroll changes. The majority of the consensus was that, you know, they're kind of excited about it because they see the potential of, you know, putting more dollars in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think in the long run it's going to be great.
Sure. No, you bet. And that's really what we want. We want to help everybody out in this. And I get it. It's a change. Changes can be difficult. You know, they always can be. But just trying to be able to get those loads into a pay period to where we're not just trying to run some short haul or something like that. That's really not that beneficial. If we can get something that's a little bit longer and get it into that same pay period and really drive that revenue up. So that's really what we're pushing for.
Speaking of change, the weather's changing. It's getting a little warmer out there.
It is for sure. My safety topic today is kind of about the weather changing and what's going on. Maybe we'll do the safety topic a little bit early here in the broadcast. And just anybody who's driving around right now, you're starting to see it. The kids are out of school now. And you see them all over the place. You know, they're playing and riding their bikes and skateboards and everything like that. So be cautious of that. You know, kids, whether you're in suburban areas or rural areas, they're out having fun and trying to do kid things, you know, and be cautious of that. Watch out for them. Give them some space. The other thing with the kids out, you're having a lot of people that are hitting the roadways. A lot of them, you know, very seldom do they drive a motor home or pull a camper trailer. And those even that do have their kids now with them, and they've got grandkids with them. 1,000 questions being asked. Are we there yet? You know, and that kind of stuff. So bear with them a little bit. If they're going to some place they've never been to before, you know, they're trying to maneuver traffic, find their exits, things of that nature. Sometimes they can be a real burden on the road, you know, so understand that they're out there on the road, they're doing their thing. Give them a little bit of a space, give them a little bit of a break, and just make the road safe.
And with the temperatures changing, Dan Welch had an issue with one of his radiator hoses coming off. So as it's getting warmer, the temperatures are coming up. We want to make sure that your air conditioning's good. We want to make sure that you're checking those hoses and those belts. Cracks, distresses, leaks, that kind of stuff, because you don't want to be in the middle of Texas
For sure.
with a radiator blown or a hose that's popped off. So when you guys are doing your pre-checks, just pay some extra special attention to those rubber components right now as this is coming, because we came off of a pretty good winter.
Yeah. Yep, we did.
So
Temperatures are already rising. If you have your steers at 110 psi and you're running on 130 degree asphalt coming out of Vegas, that tire's probably closer to 120, 125.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We were running that Alaska run, and we would start in California and go up through Montana, up through BC, Yukon into Alaska, and there's 100-degree temperature change, and especially this time of year, because you get down to California and you're triple digits. You get especially down around Death Valley and Las Vegas, triple digits, and you get up into the peaks of BC and Yukon, and you're just above freezing. So as we were coming back down, we would have to stop, pull over, check. We'd be fueling up and getting rid of garbages and whatnot, and then we would check tire pressure, and tire pressure would be under. So we'd make sure we put some air in there, and we get down towards Vegas, and we'd get pulled over, and then obviously the temperatures are a lot hotter. We'd have to let some air out. That's one reason why we put halo systems on our trucks, and most of our trucks are running the halo system now, and it helps regulate that. But we also learned that you can't 100% depend on that. We had one go out, and we going down the road, and we got one tire that's wearing really, really funny, and we couldn't figure it out. We put the pressure gauge to it, and it was like 20 psi. Like, what the? We looked, warranted the halo system, and that was the culprit. So
Yeah.
make sure you're checking that stuff.
Other thing is,
save you
it
$1.
eats the tires off so quick. It's good to stop and check them. Every 3-4 hours, take a break for a minute, because that heat will just rip the rubber right off them tires. So if you got a mediocre tire that you think can go another week or two, it may not go 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember when I was running, pull into a rest area or whatever, get out of the truck, and you want to stretch your back a little bit, and you're walking around, and you're just kind of looking at your unit. One of the things I used to always do too is go back and put my hand down on the hub, just to see, is it hot, and just kind of check those as I was walking around the unit. You never know this time of the year, it's 100 degrees ambient air temperature. Now you're running those wheels down the road. Pretty soon, a hub, if it's low on any kind of lubricant at all, whether it be oil or grease, it'll get up to 220 degrees in a big hurry.
So when you're grabbing that hub, be a little bit careful. You will lose skin if it's really hot.
You can feel it coming on, man.
Well, so I'm reading a book by Louis L'Amour, and one of the characters in this book, he's trapped in Siberia, and the author was saying that in Siberia, if you have a car that lasts 3 years, you're in good shape, because car rubber at the temperatures that you see in Siberia will crack really easily, and it becomes really brittle. Do you have any stories of heat causing something to just totally stop working?
So we're coming out of winter, spring. Let's say you got a frozen load on, something like that. Your unit is running. Say the reefer was set at 0 per the customer requirement on that particular load. So at night, it's cooler. Your unit will get the box to temp, and it could cycle down. You could go through a defrost maybe once on the trip or something like that, and then get your load delivered. Well, this time of the year, you're getting ambient air temperatures into the 100 plus. All of a sudden, things are, to your point, Danny, rubber hoses are expanding more, belts are expanding more because of the heat. You're hearing noises that you typically wouldn't hear. That doesn't necessarily mean anything's wrong. It just is what it is. But a unit could be running at full bore just as hard as it can to keep that box temperature at a 0, where it hasn't had to do that in the wintertime. So you're really relying on that, and it has to be in top-notch shape to be able to keep it going and keep that load protected at temperature. So I think it's really important to inspect the reefer unit itself, open up the cover without the unit running, taking a look and making sure that you don't have any leaks or
nine fingers.
or belts are in good shape, not cracked up and stuff like that. And just really making sure that it's good. It'll save you a lot of time and money in the long run. So
Do not drop your temperature on your reefer unit. You know, if you got it set at 0 and it's running at 5 degrees, just leave it set at 0. You know, they're not maintained to cool anything. They're set to maintain temperature.
yeah.
Yeah, so the temperature on that may be a return air, and if it's really hot out, it's grabbing that roof air and it's catching that. One thing we don't want is a claim. You know, you drop something to -20 that's supposed to be running at 5 degrees or something, you know, trying to get it to cool down. The reefer's not going to get any hotter if it can't maintain, or colder if it can't maintain 5.
Sure,
You know?
sure. One of the things I'd seen before too was guys who drop their trailers and get them loaded, or a drop trailer that you're picking up or anything like that. Sometimes some of the guys that work in the warehouses that'll actually come out and set the temperatures mistakenly will switch the unit over, and if you're used to running Fahrenheit, they'll switch it to Celsius and then set a temperature. So when you come in and you look, you say, well, it's at the right temperature, but it sure is awful hot in there. And that's kind of what
don't
the
do that.
problem is. Yeah, check and make sure you're on Fahrenheit.
Are there certain loads that like ride better when it gets hot? Like I kind of I was thinking about, you were talking about things freezing or getting down lower than they need to be. I was thinking about lettuce. Like I've put lettuce in our fridge, and if I put it up close to our freezer will pull, or the fridge pulls in air from the freezer to keep the temperature in the fridge cold. And if I put it too close to that, it ruins that lettuce. It feels like it's just got this little area of temperature to make it perfect. Are there certain loads that people need to worry about more when they're during the hot months? And maybe there isn't.
Ice cream is the first thing coming to my mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That and produce. You know, produce, you got to really watch temperatures on produce as well when you're running down the road, especially when it's 100 degrees outside. So.
Well, and you were saying, Kenny, that you, once you set that temperature on your unit, you shouldn't have to play with it like too much, because
Don't play with it at all. Just leave it at that set temp. At nighttime, when the sun's not beating on that trailer, it will cool off. It will shut off eventually, you know, on a start-stop load. We just don't need any claims, you know, and you could actually get one. Tattletales in the trailers, they know summer running, temperatures are going to be where they're at, you know, so just leave it set where it's supposed to be set, and if it quits or throwing codes and just not cooling, that's one thing, but, you know, 5-10 degree variance isn't going to do anything to the product.
cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of loads, what are you seeing on your side of the house?
We've been seeing a lot more loads being offered to us. You know, that's pretty scary. It's a good sign, I'm hoping.
So that 2.6 is now kind of inching up.
I think from what I'm seeing, it is. You know, this last week there seems to be a lot more being offered to us. We did pick up some more customer dedicated freight out of the Northwest. Some of you guys are probably seeing a lot more of you headed that way to grab that stuff. You know, we don't want to have to turn any loads back.
Sure.
You know, so we're doing what we can to and it pays good,
Yeah.
So
No, that's great
gonna help
news.
these guys.
It's great news. This has been a tough run, Maybe we'll start seeing a little bit of relief coming our way, and things will really improve. I'm hoping anyhow, right?
Yeah.
So-
There's light at the end of the tunnel. It's
Absolutely.
just don't know where that tunnel, how far that is.
I don't foresee it jumping right up,
No.
and I doubt we'll see that high mark, that we were in 21. But I think it'll gradually come up to a decent rate that we can all make money on. And
Yeah.
Danny, give us a question of the day for the drivers.
All right. Okay, my question, what I'd like to know, I have tons of questions that every day that I want to know from you guys. My question today would be, what is something that's kind of an everyday carry for you? What's something that you feel like every truck driver should have? Or what's something that's unique that you like to always have? Maybe it's
an active fuel card.
yeah. Maybe it's something like that. Or maybe it's your teddy bear. Maybe it's, what is your everyday carry? What's something that you carry every day?
Current tags.
Current registration. That's always helpful.
A phone charger.
Oh, that's a good one.
I always, my safety blanket had, for as long as I can remember, has always been a pen and a piece of paper. Just so I always have something to write, my notes and my thoughts down. And then I feel like I can move on with whatever I'm doing. So a pen and a piece of paper is something I always have to have.
I figured you were going in for the hydration thing. I haven't heard that for 2 weeks.
I'm waiting. I was just waiting for a little pause and be like, water. You got to have water in there. You got to make sure you got to hydrate. And then,
One of the things I used to keep in the truck with me is air popped popcorn. Whenever I was at the house, bring out the old air popper, pop up some popcorn, and put it in Ziploc bags.
only way to eat popcorn.
Yeah, I'd throw it in the truck, have a bunch of bags in there. And when you're going down the road and you just like, man, I got the munchies. I got to have something to chew on, I'd grab one of those bags of popcorn, open it up, and just eat some popcorn, low in calories and stuff. It did what I needed it to do. It made me feel better anyhow.
Better than chewing on the steering wheel.
That's right.
Another 10 miles to pick all the kernels out of your teeth.
That's right. Hey, it gives you something to do, right?
That's what I've always thought of sunflower seeds like that. They don't taste great, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But man, they give you something to do with your mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
That keeps you awake.
That's right.
I would do sunflower seeds and would start eating up my mouth, and then all the salt, and then I'd look down and my ankles became cankles. And I'm like, okay. Then I would hydrate
Hydrate a lot.
a lot.
That's funny.
Find sunflower seeds on your pillow from blowing back when you try and toss them out the window.
Let us know what your EDC is, your everyday carry, as far as water, food, blanket, phone charger, celery sticks, whatever it is. Let us know. Let's share that with everyone else, so maybe they can get a good idea. Kind of change up the routine a little bit. Francis, you got anything else you'd like to add?
No, just it's another week. I'd like to thank everybody again. Everybody's doing their job out there, running safe. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything you're doing, and just going to keep going here. I think it's great news to hear about more loads they're starting to see on the boards right now. That's excellent. I know it's excellent for you guys as well. It's been a tough run here, and hopefully just a little bit at a time here, we'll start coming out of this thing that we've all been in. So just good. So thanks for everything you do.
Services. If the guys don't know when their truck needs to be serviced, I know some guys are switching trucks and getting new trucks, and we've had some swapping reefer units, especially with Buell. Loading over there has been a nightmare lately with some pallet paint on the walls. I just don't get it, but
We're working through it.
We're working through that part. Usually there's a date on the filter on a reefer unit from the last time it was changed, and the hours. If you check your hours, you think that it needs to be done, get with safety.
Yep, it's every
let you know.
3,000 hours, and you can look at that if you're going through the menu options. You can see what the runtime is, and it's every 3,000 hours or every 6 months.
And then I think the trucks are every 50, right?
So your first initial one's at 10,000. It's a short service. Then 25,000, you get another short service and maybe a filter or two, depends on what they look like the Dabco filter. And then it's 50,000, 75,000, 100,000. So every 25,000 miles, you're doing something, whether it's a short service or a full service.
Well, with the heat, that was pretty easy to figure out that the full service is on every 50. So if you're getting close, let's get in and get them done. It's better to have it done in time instead of running over. I believe there's some warranty issues.
Yep, there are.
If we go over, better to get them a little bit early. And hopefully that keeps everybody from breaking down out there in the heat and no AC. Check them belts on your trucks. Make sure they're not starting to crack up, and you're keeping your water up. A lot of guys, the sensor wasn't going off. Well, yeah, but you're half a gallon low, you're getting hotter temperatures, you're probably going to need that. So
Yep.
that's all I would bring up.
Good deal. Well, as we end this episode, we want to thank you. I want to thank you for being safe and making the right choices. Remember your eyes and ears on the road. If you see something, say something. We all succeed when you make it home to your loved ones and you do it safely.
Yeah. Thank you.
See ya.